What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 16, and we start today's episode with our fixtures for August as our second season at the Community Stadium is about to kick off. We've got the Baggies, newly promoted at home, then Manchester City away at the Etihad Stadium, very tough away day that to start the campaign off, and then Brighton at home, the first team we beat with Brentford last season. There's also a shocking revelation as well, and it's got nothing to do with Ivan Toney. Yeah, if you read the title of today's episode, you saw this was coming. Where are my youth players? I've lost my youth academy. They've all just walked off. I don't know what's happened, but they've all just gone. And when I saw this in real time, man, I was absolutely perplexed as to what had happened here, and I was fuming. But I quickly went to our FIFA careers, shout out to the subreddit mentioned before, I'm a long-term lurker on there, and also the EA Sports community pages as well. And it does turn out it's quite a common bug in this year's FIFA. Now, as we've mentioned and we've seen in previous FIFAs before, how have EA not fixed this in so many years? Sometimes when you get those youth player unsettled emails, they won't give you the correct player that's unsettled, and it'll be someone else. But this season, this year even, in this year's FIFA, when you're ending a season and beginning a new one, you'll often find that a lot of your youth academy players for the new season have decided to terminate their contracts and go elsewhere. It is a bug because you don't get notified of it. It is a bit of a glitch, and it's hella frustrating as well. But unfortunately, I didn't realise this existed until I found out the hard way. We've lost like 80% of our youth academy, and I'm absolutely gutting. Thankfully, the 4 players that are remaining are 4 of the ones with the highest potential. They're all 16 years old as well, so we don't need to promote them just yet. But when we do promote them, we can check their potentials, or most of their potentials. But I'm still gutted about it. I sent my 3 scouts out here for 9 months, one to Northern Ireland, one to Scotland, and one for England. You'll see I'm going for a playmaker in Northern Ireland, a physically strong type of player in Scotland, and also an attacker in England as well. You might notice I very rarely specify a youth player type when I send my scouts out. Normally I'm just like, bro, whoever you find, let me know. Like, I'm not discriminating against anyone here, any position whatsoever. But this time I'm going to see if changing the player type has different effects for me, because I've always found, and I think last season was a good example of that. You know, when we were scouting Denmark, we were looking for physically strong type of players, but from England we were looking for anyone, and really we found a whole host of great youth players. I've always found that searching for a type of player is handy if you're desperate for one position, but if not, then I think searching for any type of player is the best way to go about it. Sometimes you'll find but you won't find certain players in certain specified criteria. Like you won't find a goalkeeper in a winger youth scouting mission, if you will, of course. So anyway, we'll see what the scouts pick up there for the 9-month mission. But I'm absolutely gutted, man. Seriously, we had such a full academy. I was buzzing about it, and now we've only got 4 players. Yeah, a bit of a bug. Very unfortunate, but I can't go back in time and give those players pro deals at the end of last season, unfortunately. It's just a lesson learned moving forward. Still, for the first game of the season, this was it. Newly promoted West Brom back in the Premier League, coming to the Community Stadium, aiming to see if they could survive back here in the top flight, just like we did last season. But if they are going to survive, they need to do a bit better than this. Yeah, early on to the game, 16 minutes, Jay with an awful pass. Looking for Jake Livermore, instead finds Ivan Toney. Shocking pass, right to the shocker, and he gives us the 1 goal lead with possibly the easiest goal he'll score in his career. Yeah, Brentford in front, and to be honest, we played some really good football in this game as well, got loads and loads of chances, but the Baggies themselves did have opportunities looking to get a point on the opening day. We saw with 22 minutes to go some brilliant defending here. Moat's first shot really well blocked, and then as Phillips goes for goal, Sean Pratt throws his weight in front of the ball and deflects it behind for a corner. So the Baggies were getting chances, they were getting openings, but fortunately our defending, our back 3 centre-halves in particular, were looking really good, as were our wing-backs Niambe and Henry, primarily on the defensive end as opposed to the offensive end. Our 8 minutes to go, still leading by a goal to nil. I brought 2 of my new signings off the bench, the vet and the kid. And with 6 minutes on the clock, they combined for our second goal of the game. and it's Roberto Gutierrez who scores our second of the game and gives us the 3 points. The Uruguayan teenager off the bench. We know he's got great potential, and hey, listen, we might have lost a great deal of academy talents, but this guy coming in from Uruguay looks like something special. Great ball by Daniel Wass as well, the veteran Dane off the bench, showing he can do it in the Premier League. Fantastic through ball, and Gutierrez has the pace to run clear and smash it home as well. Brentford 2, West Brom 0, and a win on the opening day. And you will see what the stats there as well. West Brom actually having a higher XG than us in the game. I think slightly deceptive. I always say I always present the highlights package very fairly. I think slightly deceptive stats there at full time. We definitely deserved to win, no doubt about it. They had some chances, but I think the particular defending in that game was really, really good. And after what happened last season, how many goals we leaked and some silly goals as well, well, let's just say hopefully this season, touch wood, fingers crossed, my defence is going to have a bit of an improvement. Still following that, we decided to change the position of Bryan Mbeumo after we rejected yet another bid for Ethan Pinnock. He has now become an attacking midfielder and not a winger, and the reason we've done this, as we accept a bid here for Joel Valencia as well, is because we don't play with wingers in this system. Our wing-backs are wing-backs and not wingers. You know, I'm so bad at defending. Having no wing-backs in this team and going with wingers would just be a recipe for disaster, as we reject a bid here from Villarreal for Onyeka. The Nigerian was really underrated last season, so he's going nowhere. So yeah, for Mbeumo, like he had two options basically, either play as an attacking midfielder or play as a striker. He's not going to take Tony's role. Last season, Whistle was a great strike partner, and this year with Hernandez and of course Gutierrez coming in as well, chances are he's not going to get a game up top, so changing him to attacking midfield where he played most of last season was the sensible thing to do. So hopefully he'll develop well there and improve on what was a pretty subpar season last year from our French forward. Still for the second game of today's episode, it was indeed our first away day, and what a tricky test it was going to be away at the Etihad Stadium in the northwest. And after the first chance came in the first 10 minutes, and we only just got away with it, I was thinking, okay, I can't see me keeping the clean sheet like I did against West Brom, and we wouldn't. Soon after, Riyad Mahrez, the former Fox, makes it 1-0, and then 2 minutes before the break, Raheem Sterling storms clear one-on-one, the former Liverpool winger, using the pace and drilling it in to the bottom corner. Yeah, first 45 minutes, 2-0 down. I was thinking, do you know what? We've stood up to the big teams a couple of times this series so far. We got a draw against Spurs last year. We got a win against Chelsea. But I don't know what it is about it, but Manchester City away from home, very rarely do I get anything, and unfortunately this was just one of those games where I knew I would get nothing. 3 minutes after the restart, Phil Foden smacks one in to the top corner and extends Man City's lead. And with 10 minutes after the restart, we would have our only chance of the game. Ivan Toney offloading to Wissa. He finds Daniel Wass starting holding mid in this game. It's a great through ball once again by the veteran. But unfortunately, the guy we picked out was not the guy we wanted to shoot. Ryan Nyambe, storming clear one-on-one, but yeah, defensively this guy's solid, but going forward he's not quite got the finishing touch. Still searching for his first goal in Brentford colours. I think we're going to be waiting a while with that sort of finish. Into the side netting, still 3-0 and 22 minutes to go with the game already done. As we know, Man City got their fourth. KDB, the captain, drilling into the top corner. And we've mentioned before, you know, shots from range just outside the area or possibly right on the edge of the area. They are very OP in this year's FIFA, so a couple of them getting scored there by Foden and KDB. I think it is something that EA need to tone down just slightly going forward, because it's nice to know the AI will shoot from range now, as opposed to last year when they just wouldn't do it. It's nice to know that you can't just contain against them and say, "Come break me down," because if they get a little bit of space, they'll let fly. But they find the top corner, I think, more often than not, and it is quite unrealistic. So yeah, 4-0 the final score, but hey, listen, I can't really blame the long shots and the effectiveness on them on that defeat there. No, got absolutely hammered by Man City, not surprised there. And after the 2-0 win on the opening day, I was thinking, okay, here we go, boys. Brentford defending better. Yeah, it was short-lived, wasn't it? Still for the third and final game of today's episode, second round of the EFL Cup. The first round we enter Stoke City away from home, taking on the Championship side here. And after last year reaching the quarterfinals, once again, I will throw out backup sides for all the games until we reach the latter rounds. But I would like a cup run this year as well. The Premier League will always be the primary focus for us. But it was really nice having 2 different cup runs last year. I'd like that again. So EFL Cup second round, weakened team, chance for some young and fringe players to prove that they're good enough to more minutes in this team. And in a really tough game, very little going on, not many chances at all. 7.5 minutes to go, we got our best one and we took it as well. Ricky J. Jones, who averaged a goal in every 4 games last season in the limited minutes he got last year, scores in his first appearance of the campaign. So hard to get my strikers game time because there's just so many of them, but J. Jones is still one player we won't forget about, even with the signings of Hernandez and Gutierrez as well. He still chips in with a goal every now and then. Scores the game winner. We are through to the 3rd round of the EFL Cup. So despite a harry against Man City, not a bad start to this season. And don't forget, a couple of weeks to go in the transfer window, and I've still not spent a penny in transfer fees. 31 mil still remaining in the budget. And yeah, I've been hesitant to move for players, but I think I will in the next episode and make some signings. Like, where's this episode of Career Mode, guys? Big thank you if you enjoyed. If you haven't, please drop a like. Myself to you all, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon, featuring Transfer Deadline Day very soon.